I'm going to just jump into it, y'all. This is a crazy time for aviation, obviously, and I realize that we're framing this conversation about like kind of new routes and how do we think about preparing our communities for potentially fostering new connections between cities. But it strikes me that really today we're talking about which ones to restart versus which ones to recruit anew.
It depends on which side of the airlines you're talking on. If you're talking about passengers, of course, they're in survival mode. They're trying as much as possible to stay open, to stay operational, to keep as much staff as they can without laying off people, and still provide service to those key cities that they can at least get a decent load factor on. But on the cargo side, we have a capacity problem. We don't have enough airlift on the cargo side because the demand for cargo has increased tremendously, especially with regards to moving PPEs and also e-commerce.
So when you're in the position of like trying to figure out which places are going to be the best utilize your assets, like how do you even make sense of it at a moment like this? Or can you?
Don't. All our traditional means of evaluating performance, and particularly for forecasting future performance, have pretty much gone out the window for a year now. This is far bigger than 9/11's impact on the industry, or even waves of bankruptcies. It's just we've never seen anything like it. So in the short run, it's just looking for a sign of when recovery will start to happen and how quickly. International travel will continue to be impacted for a lot longer, I think, than domestic travel. The second thing I wanted to say on that point was that I think it's accelerating a trend we were already beginning to turn our minds to for forecasting air travel demand. Our traditional approach has been to look at databases of past demand, which we have quite robust data about how many people have traveled in the past month, year, 3 years ago, 5 years ago, between any two airports on the planet. That doesn't really work now because, first of all, the historical data doesn't mean anything. And we're not really in growth mode anyway. So what it's accelerating is a trend towards looking for alternative data sources for future demand. Things like the global distribution systems like Sabre and Amadeus. These are the platforms that you directly or indirectly book through for not just air tickets, but hotels, rental cars, that sort of thing. They have very robust data on search activity for people searching for flights before they actually buy, well in advance of the time they might actually purchase. Similarly, the search engines, Google and the like, have a lot of data on what people are searching for, obviously. So we haven't really begun to exploit those data sources for seeing what are people searching for today that may turn into demand down the road. And I think it's accelerating looking at those for a sign of, hey, which markets are recovering? Because we know they're not all going to grow back at the same rate.